Alright, problem number 2, we're going to use the same process and we should be able to get through a little bit faster. One reason, namely, our leading coefficient is a 1. So this time we have y squared, so no number out front, plus 7y, and then plus 10 equals 0. And this one is already set up for us, so that's nice. So again, the same process. Leading coefficient, the first number, which is understood to be a 1. Okay, so don't multiply whenever I say first number. It's not y. Y is a letter, it's not a number. So 1 times 10 is going to give you 10. And we're going to list all the factors of 10. So this is a small number. We can do it by hand. 1 times 10, 2 times 5, and I think that's it. Alright, so once you list the factors, you look at this sign. This tells you what to do. This one first. You're going to add and see which ones give you 7. 10 plus 1 gives me 11. 5 plus 2 gives me 7. These are the numbers I use. Okay, so if you can find those numbers, it factors. If you go down this list and you're adding and nothing gives you 7, then the problem will not factor. You have to try to solve it a different method. It will factor. I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses, just like before. And then the leading coefficient is 1, which we don't actually have to write that. So I'm just going to put the y. I'm going to split the y up. A y over here and a y over here. And then the 2 numbers at the back, 2 and 5. And again, it doesn't matter which one goes where. The first sign tells you the larger number. So out of 2 and 5, 5 is larger, so it's going to get a positive. The second sign is positive. That means they're the same. Think about a relationship. Positive, same. Negative, we're different. Different terms. So that's a positive. That means they're both going to have the same sign. And so it's going to be the same as this, so it's also positive. Okay, so this is factored. We're going to set them equal to 0 and solve. So we have y plus 2 equals 0, and y plus 5 equals 0. And we're going to subtract 2. It's going to give us y equals a negative 2 as one of our solutions. And then we're going to subtract 5. It's going to give us y equals a negative 5. So we get negative 2 and negative 5 as our 2 solutions. Alright, we're also going to do number 3 here. Alright, number 3 we have, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in standard form. I'm going to move everything as it needs to be. So we have y squared, and then minus 4y. And now the 5 is on the other side of the equal sign. So when I move it over, I have to subtract or change the sign. It's going to be a minus 5 equals 0. So just get used to setting everything up in standard form. And then the same process. Leading coefficient times the constant. 1 times 5 will give us 5. Alright, the factors of 5 are just 1 times 5. There's nothing else that multiplies to give you 5. Alright, the second sign tells you what to do. So if this was positive, that means you have to add to try to get the middle number. But it's negative, so you subtract. And you got to be careful with that because it changes. Sometimes you add, sometimes you subtract. So we're going to subtract to see if we can get 4. And again, if we do 5 minus 1, we will get 4. So it will factor. 2 sets of parentheses. And then a y in front. Split the y up. And then a 1 in one of them and a 5 in the other. Order doesn't matter. And then the first sign is your larger number. So out of 1 and 5, the 5. So it's going to get a minus. And then the second sign tells you negative. So that means different. They're going to be different signs. So if that one's negative and this is different, it has to be a positive. Okay, so it's factored. We're going to set them equal to 0 and solve. So we have y plus 1 equals 0. And if we subtract 1, move it over, it's going to give us y equals negative 1. And then over here we have y minus 5 equals 0. And then if we add 5, it's going to give us y equals a positive 5. 5 seems like a popular answer. Has been in most of the problems so far. But negative 1 and positive 5.